4 a.m. First Fruits. This is a chapter by chapter Bible study series, and we are in Ezra 4. The foundation has been laid for the Lord's temple. We are starting off in chapter 4 with some opposition already. Chapter 4. When the enemies of Judah and Benjamin heard that the returned exiles were building a temple for the Lord, the God of Israel, they approached Zerubbabel and the family heads and said to them, "Let us build with you, for we also worship your God and have been sacrificing to him since the time King Esarhaddon of Assyria brought us here." Actually, they have something called a syncretistic religion, which is kind of a mixture of a few things. Yes, they might be sacrificing to God while also sacrificing to many other pagan lowercase g gods. If you recall, Hezekiah and Josiah both tried to reform it and they were unable to. Verse 3, "But Zerubbabel, Jeshua, and the other heads of Israel's families answered them, 'You may have no part with us in building a house for our God, since we alone will build it for the Lord, the God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, has commanded us.' Then the people who were already in the land discouraged the people of Judah and made them afraid to build. They also bribed officials to act against them to frustrate their plans through the reign of King Cyrus of Persia and until the reign of King Darius of Persia." Zerubbabel, Jeshua, and the other heads of Israel were very wise in their discernment for this. They knew that they could not water down their faith. They already had a command from King Cyrus, and they were obeying his command for them to build their temple for their God. Immediately, God's people are trying to obey God, and they get opposition right away. This opposition started off with a deceptive alliance. Let us help you build, but we're probably going to include a lot of our idolatrous practices in your temple and ultimately make it impure. Second was a psychological campaign. So if we can't help them and mess it up that way, we are going to make them fearful and discouraged, and the use of bribery to frustrate their building plans. Ultimately, confirming that Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the family heads were right in saying no. Have a little hop in time here. We go from King Cyrus to Ahasuerus. Sounds like a dinosaur. Verse 6, "At the beginning of Ahasuerus, the people who were already in the land wrote an accusation against the residents of Judah and Jerusalem. The letter was written in Aramaic and translated." Verse 8, "Rehum the chief deputy and Shimshai the scribe wrote a letter to King Artaxerxes concerning Jerusalem as follows." The letter has some authority to it. These are colleagues of the king. This was the deceptive letter in verse 12. "Let it be known to the king that the Jews who came from you have returned to us in Jerusalem. They are rebuilding that rebellious an evil city, finishing its walls and repairing its foundation. Let it now be known to the king that if that city is rebuilt and its walls are finished, they will not pay tribute, duty, or land tax, and the royal revenue will suffer. Since we have taken an oath of loyalty to the king, and it is not right for us to witness his dishonor, we have sent to inform the king that a search should be made in your father's record books. In these record books, you will discover and verify that the city is a rebellious city, harmful to kings and provinces. There have been revolts in it since ancient times. That is why the city was destroyed. We advise the king that if this city is rebuilt and its walls are finished, you will not have any possession west of the Euphrates." This threefold appeal to the king is: you're going to suffer financially, you will be dishonored, and you will have nothing left in your kingdom. Your empire will be lost. That sounds like a bunch of fears a king would have, if you ask me. More fear. King Artaxerxes looks into this history, and it is confirmed that Judah has been rebellious quite a few times. 2 Kings 18, 13, 24, and 20, and more. This was his response. Verse 19. I issued a decree and a search was conducted. It was discovered that the city had had uprisings against kings since ancient times, and there have been rebellions and revolts in it. Powerful kings have also ruled over Jerusalem and exercised authority over the whole region west of the Euphrates River, and tribute, duty, and land tax were paid to them. Therefore, issue an order for these men to stop so that the city wall will not be rebuilt until a further decree has been pronounced by me. See that you have not neglected this matter, otherwise the damage will increase and the royal interest will suffer. At the end of this chapter, it says they immediately went to the Jews in Jerusalem and forcibly stopped them. They waste no moment. No time. As soon as God's people started to obey, there was opposition. This is a biblical pattern. And in the New Testament, Jesus tells us, hey, expect that the world will hate you if you're following me. I mean, that's just how the spiritual operates. The enemy tactics started off as a deceptive alliance, discouragement and fear, and even political maneuvering. Opposition can work through authoritative systems. There is a need for discernment. Superficial appeals for unity can mask impure motives that can lead us to spiritual decay. I see it right now in America. We can trust in God's timing. God's plan will prevail even when we are faced with setbacks. God helps us be resilient through setbacks. Long-term faithfulness can outweigh long-term opposition. And it's a good thing that one of the fruits of the Spirit is faithfulness. Thank you for watching this 4 a.m. and I'll see you on the next 4 a.m. when we cover chapter 5. And that will be on Monday.